6 minutes for this speech. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'm not ready.
Now, in this last negative speech of today's round, I'm just going to go over one of the main issues that I think this round has come down to today, and that is how do we value individual privacy, and does violating individual privacy legally not make it a violation of individual privacy, and how do we actually value individual privacy in today's round? Now, if you go back to the resolution, it says that the affirmative side of the resolution said that individual privacy should be valued above national security. So we're talking about valuing individual privacy. Now, the other team has brought up mention of respect for individual privacy. And to me, this doesn't exactly make sense, because if we respect something but then act in direct violation of it, it doesn't really seem like respect. If we value individual privacy, then that means we value someone's right to be free from restrictions. We value their right to say, I don't want my privacy invaded, whether it's legal or not. So in this round, I believe we should be looking at individual privacy in terms of, does that person want their privacy invaded or not? Now, if you go back, with that said, if you go back to my examples of where terrorism was prevented by valuing national security higher, whether or not the police, in the instance of the example I mentioned where they found a cell phone and then they went back and searched the two people's apartment, whether or not they used a warrant in that instance, it doesn't really matter. They invaded their privacy anyway. They went against the affirmative team's definition of individual privacy. So if you look at individual privacy in that way, you cannot have national security if you always value individual privacy higher. In that case, you wouldn't have been able to look at the cell phone. You wouldn't have been able to go into their apartment and find the incriminating evidence that you need, because you would have valued their individual privacy higher, and you wouldn't have been able to prevent that terror attack. So looking at individual privacy in that light and really valuing it and actually implementing that, rather than simply saying you respect it but violating it anyway, is how I believe we should look at it in today's round. And with that, looking at it in that light, the only way we can prevent terror attacks, which are the greatest threat to our liberty, is to actually value national security higher when the two come into conflict. So it's because of that that I strongly encourage a negative ballot at the end of today's round.